Aloha and welcome to Upside Down Pilates. My name is Lisa Orick and we are going to talk about your back and your neck and your posture today. So let's get to it. All right, freeze. Don't move. And I just want you to notice how your body is right now, whether you're seated, whether you're lying down. Just notice what's your pelvis doing right now. Don't change anything, just notice. And now go up a little bit. What's your upper back doing right now? Where are your shoulders? What's your neck doing? Where's your head? What position are your arms in? What position are your hands in? What's going on with your hips? How about your knees and your feet? Stay frozen and notice if you have any areas of tension or any areas of pain right now. Okay, unfreeze and shake it out. And now sit nice and tall and put your happy smile on. We are going to look at 6 postures that are a bit destructive to your back and to your neck. And I want you to consider how often you're finding yourself in those particular postures. All right? Now, posture is a signature move, and it's an accumulation of the movements that you have throughout the day. So it's very easy to change it. All you have to do is pick new movements, pick new ways of sitting, pick new ways of standing, and do exercises that help to reverse any sort of bad postures that you may find yourself in. All right? So let's get to our 6 postures. Let's start with sitting at the computer. So, we all sit at the computer way too much nowadays. And let's talk about this posture. Oftentimes, we're rounded, our head is forward, our shoulders are forward, and our hands are out in front of us. Okay? We all look like little bugs. All right? Do. And you know you're not supposed to sit like this. Everybody says don't sit like this, but yet you know you find yourself like this all the time. All right, this is wreaking a lot of havoc on our body, and it will cause lower back pain. When you're rounded forward and your head is forward, your head it's 8 to 20 pounds. And the fulcrum of the head being this far forward is going to be right at your lower back. And if you keep dropping back and reaching this forward, and then you add the weight of your arms out in front of you while you're doing this, you're putting tons of pressure in your lower back. And then your body starts to round and concave forward. In many instances, these upper back muscles get elongated and pulled very tight, and then you'll have extreme tightness and achiness in your upper back. All right? That's the computer posture. That's seated at the computer. Now I'm going to show you standing at the computer. A lot of people have tried to change this, and they're doing standing work postures, and now it's causing other problems. Okay? So with our standing work posture, oftentimes what people will do is they'll throw their hips forward and then they'll concave backwards to distribute the weight of their upper body so that they can still round forward and get their heads out in front of them. All right? So you end up hips forward, upper body recessed forward, head forward, and then again, this weight is going from the head to the hands, and it actually a lot of times gets distributed right at that lower back. And significant number of people that end up in this posture have sacroiliac joint dysfunction. They often will twist one hip and get into going with that, but it's just a whole lot of pressure going at the lower back. So of course, standing up tall is one of the best ways to alleviate that. The next one I'm going to talk about is our phone. Okay, so here we have this phone. All day long, we're going like this on the phone. Now, I don't see anyone holding their phone up in front of them and going like this. Oh, no, no, no. In fact, one of my clients was standing right over in the other room, and she was literally down with her head forward, and her body was almost parallel to the ground because she was having a hard time seeing. And I just about lost my mind. I said, stand up and get your phone up in front of you. And she was standing in that position for like 5 minutes, and it didn't even cross her mind that she was holding the phone that way. So this is another posture that we get on our phone and get the head going, get the thumbs going, or the poking going, and then we're walking around doing it. You should see what it's like downtown. I'm looking at these young 20, 30-year-old kids, and they're all walking around and their heads are forward, and I'm like, well, you're going to be my client soon, because again, you've got all that weight forward, and it puts the pressure right at the lower back. All right? And then it starts to ache, and you wonder why your back is hurting. All right, now let's talk about how people will sit in their chair. And I've seen this in a number of my clients that come in with back pain. I work with people on Zoom or in the studio, and when I work with people on Zoom, I have the pleasure of actually seeing them in their own environment. And this one gentleman had terrible back pain. He'd been everywhere. Nothing was working. He is actually in the medical industry himself. And he sat down to talk with me. And he sat down and he leaned back in his chair like this. Okay, so his lower back was arched. His belly was hanging out. And his whole upper back, I can't even get it there, was rested back into the back of his chair. And his head was forward, and he's looking at me on Zoom. And of course, my first question is, oh, how does your back feel right now? Because I'm thinking to myself, that's gotta hurt. I can't even get into that position. He's like, oh, it's aching. It's like a 5 or a 6 right now. And I said, okay, well, what happens if you don't lean back into your chair and you sit up? And he's like, oh, this feels so much better. I'm like, wow, it's a miracle. Okay, so if you're sitting in a chair, leaning back like this with your head forward, and then heavens to Betsy's working on the computer, that's not a good way to do it. You would be surprised at the number of people who watch TV like this and then wonder why their back is aching. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5, we've got the plane and the car. Okay, have you noticed in your car and on the plane, for some reason, they have it set up where your upper back goes like this, and then your head is forward, and you can't get your head all the way back up against the chair. I don't know why they do that, but let me tell you, it's not a good idea. So when I get on the plane, I take something to kind of push myself up. I'll always take a blanket or sweatshirt or something to push myself up so I can get my head back, and my head's not forward for, let's say, 9-10 hours if I'm trying to get to the East Coast from where I am. All right? But being back like this with your head forward is a very bad idea. It's going to cause back pain. The car is even worse. So the car seats are set up just like that as well, but then you're doing your foot, all right? Oftentimes what happens is we start to pull back with the foot leg, so then we're twisting and going around up top, we're pressing the pedal, and then our hip is pulled all the way back. Now that's even worse than all the other stuff, because our head is forward, our hip is back, our knee goes in, and we look like this. Okay, this is not sexy, just so you know, kids, and it causes your back to hurt. All right, that was number 5. And the last one is scoliosis. Now, scoliosis most of the time is due to right to left imbalances from holding your purse or holding your kids on your hip or all sorts of interesting, or sitting at your desk sideways. Now, there are people who have scoliosis, and that's just how their spine was built from birth. And that's another one where you can really just work to strengthen your muscles and keep yourself strong so that scoliosis never becomes a problem. But I just like to bunch them all together and call it right to left asymmetries. All right. And then you just work to bring yourself to the midline the best you can. And for most people, it doesn't turn into that big of a deal as long as you keep yourself nice and strong. And even if you are having trouble with it, as long as you work to bring whatever side and rotation you have back to neutral, you're able to strengthen and lengthen what needs to be lengthened, and bring you back to a nice neutral, strong position. All right. So I lump those two together because some of them are just part of the way you're built, and that's totally fine. But you work with it, you do the exercises you need to do to strengthen. The other one, this is a choice. Holding your purse like this, talking on the phone like this or like this, holding your kids sideways, whatever you do, those are all choices that you can change those choices very easily. All right, so those are our 6 postures or daily movement habits that we have that wreak havoc on our body. Let's recap. Sitting at the computer, standing at the computer, talking, or not even talking on the phone, texting on your phone, but talking on the phone, that's going to bring you sideways like this. Then we have the sitting in a chair. Then we have the car and the plane. And then we have our right to left asymmetries, which is either scoliosis from that's just how you're made, or movement scoliosis from how you decide to hold stuff together. All right. Now I want to teach you a couple of exercises that will be helpful in straightening that mess out. All right. All right. Let's test to see how far away from neutral we are. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is, if you can, go to a wall and just check out and see if you can stand up straight, because you might not be able to and you may not realize it. So I'm just going to come back here behind my trusty Cadillac, and we're going to bring your heels, your tush, your in between your shoulder blades and your head up against the wall. Now try to straighten your knees as much as you can and keep your heels, your tush, your upper back, and your head against the wall. Can you get your head against the wall? Oftentimes, people can't get their head against the wall anymore, and they have no idea that they're not able to do that. Okay, that's test number 1. Test number 2. Can you lie down flat on your back without being assisted with pillows? So let's try. You're going to lie down. Can you straighten your legs out? Bring your head down and relax. And are you able to do this? Now, if you have a really far forward head posture, you're going to be like this, and then your head's going to be dropping back like this, and it'll feel really uncomfortable. And so what we can do is start to work on opening through here and strengthening the muscles in our upper back backwards to lengthen out your spine. All right, so that was your test. Again, you do not want to, beat yourself up and say, oh, I'm such a mess. It doesn't matter. We just need to know where you are, because then when things start to change, it's good to be able to know about that. All right, now I'm going to show you some quick exercises, easy exercises that you can do to get started with this. All right, let me grab a pillow. I like to use these with pillows. We're going to lie on our belly. Surprise. The easiest way to change your posture, if it's all contorted, is to do the opposite of what you're doing. Now, some of these may be quite challenging, and there's many modifications that we can do for these. This is where you would want to join me for my naturally free back and neck class that I have coming up pretty quick here. But for now, let's see if we can lie on our belly. All right, so what you're going to do is put your pillow under your pelvis, and ideally you're going to have your legs together, and you're going to put your elbows wide and your hands under your forehead. Big inhale, and now exhale. Just lift your head off the ground, and now bring it back down. And again, shoot the head out and away as you lift it off the ground. Try not to push into your arms. Just let your arms be relaxed. and bring it back down. And again, exhale. Lift the head off the ground and bring it back down. 2 more. Lift the head off the ground and bring it back down. 1 more. Lift the head off the ground and bring it back down. Okay, now let's take and move our pillow down a little bit. We're going to bend our knees, flex our feet, and turn our legs out a little bit. Big inhale. Squeeze the heels together and see if you can lift your knees off the ground a little bit. And bring it back down. And squeeze. And bring it back down. And squeeze and lift. And bring it back down. 2 more. Squeeze and lift. And bring it back down. 1 more. Squeeze and lift. And bring it down. All right. Now, if you would like, extend your legs, turn them out. Bring your pillow up just a tiny, tiny bit. And if you can, reach your arms out in front of you. Lift your head off the ground, pull your belly up and in, and have your tush already squeezing. Big inhale. Exhale. Pick up your right arm and your left leg straight. And then bring it down. Now the other side. Pick up your left arm and your right leg straight. And bring it down. Right arm and left leg. And bring it down. Left arm and right leg. And bring it down. Right arm and left leg. And bring it down. Left arm and right leg. And bring it down. 2 more. Right arm and left leg. Bring it down. Left arm and right leg. 1 more round, please. Right arm and left leg. Bring it down. Left arm and right leg. Now, if you want, everybody all together. Inhale, exhale, legs and arms, and down. Exhale, legs and arms, and down. And legs and arms, and down. Last set, legs and arms, and down. Very nice. Let's take a little break. Is that I have found over the past, right now, 23 years that I've been teaching this stuff, is to do the work side lying. So a lot of times doing forward work or backwards work can be really challenging for people, but people are able to line themselves up sideways and do a significant amount of exercise with gravity pulling down on them, so against the weight of their spine, their arms, and their legs. And they're able to pull themselves out of their regular patterns, which is what's causing the problem in the first place, and then strengthen the muscles so they can then translate that to standing or lying or whatnot. And then a lot of things change. So we're going to explore some moves on our side. If you have a pillow, grab it. For this situation, I don't want you to hold your head up the whole time. I want you to find a place and the height of a pillow or a blanket that you can actually get your head in line with the rest of your spine, okay? And this is one of these places where, yes, eventually we can hold our head up like this the whole time, but that is not necessary right now. All right, so you're going to bring your head, your shoulders, and your hips in one long line, and you're going to rest your head on a pillow, or you can rest your head on your hands if you're not too broad of shoulders. But if you have really broad shoulders, you're going to need a pillow. And we're going to explore what's going on at our waist. So the first thing I want you to do is see if you can lift your waist off the ground. And we're going to start with our low waist here. We're going to reach by our hip down here towards the ground. So reach your low waist to the ground. And then you're going to lift that low waist up off the ground. And I'm going to pull my shirt up so hopefully you can see. Down by your hip is going to reach to the ground. And then you're going to lift it up off the ground. So as the bottom hip goes, the waist goes to the ground. This hip will actually hike up. And then you're going to come back to neutral. 2 more. Low waist to the ground. and bring it up. One more. Low waist to the ground and bring it up. All right, let's just flip on over to the other side. So you're going to flip on over to the other side. Again, you're going to try line yourself up. Tail, shoulders, head in one long line. Lift your waist up off the ground now. And now we're going to reach the low waist down by our hip to the ground and lift the low waist up off the ground. And low waist goes down and low waist comes up. And low waist goes down and low waist comes up. And low waist goes down and low waist comes up. One more time. A low waist goes down and low waist comes up. All right. Now, that may be new to you, and you may actually start to feel some muscles in your waist working differently than you felt them work before. Let's come back over to the other side, and now we're going to try the upper waist. So this is actually your rib cage moving. All right. So that is just the beginning of the information that I have to share with you about freeing your back and your neck. I'm going to invite you to click on the link or the QR code on the screen and become a VIP for my Naturally Free Back and Neck series that's coming up very soon. You will get a second part of this workout, and we'll go into more detail of different exercises that you can do to change those postures. And I tell you, I've been doing this for 23 years now, and these simple little exercises transform lives absolutely, completely. It's quite amazing. And I see it before my eyes every single day. So I encourage you, go. You'll sign up, and then we'll send you an email with the second part of the workout. And there was another workout that we did before this one. You'll also get another link to that one in case you missed it. And we will get you going. And then from there, you'll be put on my email newsletter. And through my email newsletter, you're going to get the information on how to register for the class. And I'd love to have you in the class. In the class, we get to work back and forth on Zoom, and I can see you. Or if you can't come to class on time, I actually do movement analysis. So you submit videos to me and questions to me, and then I'm able to do the movement analysis, and then it'll be a video that you can watch if you have to work all day long or whatever and you can't go to class. No excuses. You can watch it whenever you want. All right? Thanks so much for joining me today. It was such a delight having you with me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Aloha.